Welcome back to Birch's Blessed BBQ. My name is Micah Birch, and I'm going to show you how to make some tender, juicy, flavorful tacos with some chuck roast, some homemade tortillas, and some pickled red onions. Let's get into it. Chuck roast. We picked these chuck roasts up from our local Sam's. Look at the beautiful fat marbling they have. Usually these are pretty lean when you get them, and it is a tough cut of meat. We're going to be making some tacos, some birria tacos, taking a play on that. It's not going to be authentic, but it's going to have the same flavor profiles as it would normally have. And these are some pretty thick chuck roasts. When it comes to it, we're going to get it on the smoker. And then after we get it on the smoker for 4 to 5 hours, we're going to put it in a consomme and let it braise down to take it to tenderness, which would be at the temp of 200 to 205. We're just going to start building those layers of flavor when it comes to what we're doing, because we're going to add a whole bunch of flavors into that consomme, that braising liquid that we're building. So we don't want to go too crazy with this rub. Just doing a once over, little bits and pieces like this hanging off, which isn't really a big deal, but just for now, we're just going to clean it up a little bit. It's all going to get pulled together at the end, but just making sure there's nothing too crazy hanging off. Let's go ahead and get into seasoning this piece of meat. Black pepper, white pepper, sea salt, granulated garlic, granulated onion, smoked paprika, ground mustard, coriander, celery seed, oregano, sumac. Give it a mix. We have our SPG rub that we just made. We're going to get these chuck roast seasoned on all sides. It's going in a braising liquid at the end. Not too worried about this seasoning. We are going to get it on all sides, nice and generous to build a bark. With that pepper in there, it's really going to help build us that bark, catch that smoke, and it's going to have a beautiful color and texture when we put this in our braising liquid. This being a tough cut of meat, that braising liquid is really going to help us break this down, take it to tenderness around that 200 mark, and make it so that we can shred it up and make some tacos. Now that we have this nice and seasoned, let's go fire up the pit. We are rolling on the Traeger Timberline XL today. We have the temp set to 250. We are rolling with some maple, some hickory, and some oak. We're just waiting just for it to sweat in for 15, 20 minutes. And it'll give us that wet look that I've mentioned before. Like I said before, we're taking a look at some birria tacos, just kind of taking inspiration from those flavors to make some tacos today using this chuck roast. It's a pretty simple, straightforward cook. We're going to put the chuck roast on the smoker for 4 to 5 hours to build some bark. When it's ready to come off, that's where we're going to hit it with all the flavor. We're going to make that consomme with all the ingredients that we have behind us that you haven't seen yet, unless you've seen it earlier in the other clips. That's where most of our flavor is going to come from. So we got some other flavors on this chuck roast, but we're mostly getting all the flavor from the consomme that we're going to be braising it in until it's tender. I have a feeling these are going to be phenomenal. So stay tuned as we make this braising liquid. Let's pickle some onions. Our liquids for our pickling: water, red wine vinegar, a little beet juice, some sugar, and our salt. Give that a mix so it dissolves. We're going to put it on the stove for a couple minutes. We're not going to take it to a boil. Once our salt and sugar has dissolved, it's time to put it with our onions. We're going to add some peppercorns, some red chili flakes, pour in our liquid. These will be ready after 30 minutes to an hour. We're going to let these rest until we're ready to use them. Let's make our consomme, or our braising liquid, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna start with some avocado oil, enough to coat the bottom and let that heat up. We're gonna start with our onions. We're gonna let these onions cook until they become translucent. Now that these are looking nice and translucent, we're gonna go in with our garlic. We're gonna let that fry up until it becomes nice and fragrant. Now that this is nice and fragrant, make a well in the middle and go in with a little bit of our tomato paste. We're gonna let that cook down for a second. Now that we've let that cook down, we're gonna go in with our tomatoes. We're gonna let this cook down until the tomatoes start to release the water. Now that the tomatoes are nicely broken down and ready to be blended, we're gonna add a little bit of beef stock to help blend it, just enough so that we can blend it together. This is smelling amazing. Let's go ahead and get it into our blender. We're gonna make it nice and smooth. It is smelling amazing though. If you could smell it, you would want to eat it right now. Let's get this lid back on here. Go on medium. Nice and blended. Let's go ahead and get this poured back in here. Now that this is nice and smooth, we're gonna get this on a low heat while we toast off our peppers. We're gonna toast off our chilies in the dry pan just until they become fragrant while our guajillo chilies toast and release their natural oils. We got our chipotle and adobos here ready. I wanted to get the ancho chilies as well, but my area doesn't have them. So we're just going to add some ancho powder in there. I think it's still going to turn out phenomenal. When these get done, we'll let them steep in there with some water to become soft. Put them in this blender. We'll add our chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. Then we'll add our ancho powder in there with some beef stock and blend that together. Our peppers have toasted, releasing their natural oils, becoming fragrant. We're gonna take our water, cover them up, and let those steep for 10-15 minutes. Now that our peppers have finished steeping and they are nice and hydrated, set that there. Pop open this blender. Now we could use some of the water from in here with these peppers. I'm just gonna add some beef stock in here to help it blend and loosen it up some. Then we also have some chipotle with adobo. We're just gonna go in with, I'm going with the whole can. Let's just go in with the whole can. I wanted the ancho peppers to toast with the guajillo. My local place doesn't have it. All I got is some ancho powder. So that's what I'm gonna use. Pop this open. It's gonna help deepen the flavor profile. So we do want to add that. Not gonna go overboard. Just enough to deepen the flavor. And we're gonna add some of this beef stock in there as well to help loosen it up so that we can blend it. We got that in there. Let's give it a mix. Let's take a look. Still pretty thick. We're gonna add a little bit more beef stock in there. Another blend. Let's get another look. Smells nice and strong. I made a mix with some coriander, some cumin, some cinnamon, and some Mexican oregano. I could let that steep in there with the pot. I'm just gonna go ahead and mix in here with this and then add that in there as well. I'll save a little bit to add to the other mix. Now that we have this mix, take a look at this color. A deep, bright red. Bring back over our original pot. I'm gonna give this a mix. It has thickened up a little bit from waiting. Let's go ahead and add this to it. Let's give this a mix. Look at this color. That color is phenomenal, right? It's still a little thick. We are going to let this reduce a little bit more and heat up. And we might add some more of this beef stock. Before we do that, let's go ahead and add the rest of our seasoning. Our chuck roast is ready to come off, so as soon as this is ready, we'll get that all together and finish it off in the oven. 5 hours later, we have our chuck roast. It is looking nice and barky, nice and dark. Still a little tight. I think it is ready to go into the oven. We have our mix here, smelling wonderful. We're gonna go ahead and pour it on this chuck roast. Making sure it is nice and covered. It is looking beautiful. We're gonna let this braise for another hour or two. 5 hours later. Let's see if we can pick it up. Oh yeah, it's real tender. If I let it go any type of way, it's gonna fall. Take a look at that. Take a look at this second one. Yep. See if we can hold this one together. See if we can hold this one together. There we go. It is warm as well. 5 hours later, 2 hours in the oven at 350, and another 3 hours on the warm setting at 145. Our chuck roast is nice and tender. It is smelling phenomenal right now. What we're gonna do is we got this pan. As you can see, it's filled to the brim with our consomme. We're gonna take our chuck roast from here, put it in here to shred it, and then we'll re-season if we need to, add some juices, and keep this consomme for tomorrow. We just want to separate it. Yeah, it's tender. It already has the natural separation, but if I yeah, let's get this shredded up. Let's see if we can even pick it up. Nice and tender. Collagen is completely broken down. We got that jello-like feel. Exactly what we wanted to see. Take this to our desired texture. We have this to our desired texture. We are going to do a taste test tonight of the meat, but I think it'll be better if we put some foil over it, leave it in the fridge overnight, and come back to it tomorrow when we make our tortillas. We need some more salt. It's a little bit of a kick. Bring this consomme back over. We are going to put this consomme back over. Not too much, but we want to bring that flavor to the meat since we just pulled it apart and all that flavor was just on the outside. Not only is it going to make it more juicy, overnight it's going to soak in all those flavors. Don't want to turn it into soup. We just want to give it enough so that this meat can soak it back up. You can already hear it. You hear that? Adding some of that moisture back into it. We added some flavor back into it. We added some salt. Let's see how it's tasting. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Oh, yeah, these tacos are going to be good. Should we get a little bit more of that? A touch more bit of salt. I'm going to go ahead and foil this up with the consomme. Then I'll be back with you tomorrow. Let's make some tortillas. Go on with our flour, our baking soda, and our salt. Give that a mix. This is meant to be beef tallow. It's shortening. It's going to do the same thing, but I think the beef tallow would have been better. Fresh out of beef tallow. Now that we have a crumbly texture, let's stream in some water. Now that the dough ball is formed, let's dump out a little flour. Dump out our dough. Just bring it together. Give this dough a little knead. It's warm. Let's not overwork it, but let's give it a good knead. We're gonna section this off in 30-gram dough balls. Take these, tuck all the seams to the underside, pinch it closed, give it a table run. We end up with balls like this. We got them all balled up and we're gonna let them rest for the next hour. I don't have a tortilla press, so we're gonna use this plastic bag and a cutting board. If you have a tortilla press, use a tortilla press. You can also use a pan or just roll it out with a roller. We're gonna go with this method today. We have a little oil here on both sides. We are gonna take this ball, set it in the middle. Put that back over it. Take this cutting board, put it right on top. The weight of it's already pressing it down. Now we're gonna give it a press. Let's see how it turned out. Let's give it a turn. Another press. Looking pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and take it off. We got our pan set to medium heat. Take this off. It's nice and thin. We're gonna set it right on our pan on medium heat and let it cook on each side for 30 seconds. When the other side has a little bit of browning, we take it and flip it over, and you can see the little browning there. Once it's done, we add it in here with the other one, and we're gonna keep doing that process. I'm gonna continue doing this process with all 30 of these tortillas, and I will be back with you once I'm done. We have a mound of tortillas here. Now that those are done, let's build our tacos. Let's make some tacos. We're gonna go down with our meat. Next with some of our pickled red onions. Look at those. They smell phenomenal. A little bit of our pickled red onions. Down with a little bit of cilantro. A piece of our cilantro. And finish it off with a little bit of queso fresco. Now we have our taco. Look at that. Let's dive into it. These tacos are looking and smelling amazing. I think it's time to give it a taste test. I'm gonna go with just the meat first. We pulled it last night and let it sit in the refrigerator so that all that flavor could really soak into the meat. So let's give it a taste test, see what it's tasting like. Oh. Yeah, it's definitely popping with flavor. That's really needed. An overnight rest. We have our taco built out. We have the beef. We got some pickled red onions, cilantro, some queso fresco. We have our consommé here. We're gonna go in without dipping, just a straight bite. Yeah. Dang, that's good. Dang, that's good. The pop of flavor. We just tried the meat by itself. The pop of flavor that this meat has mixed with these pickled red onions. That pickled red onion came in to cut through some of the fat that was in this beef. The cheese adds a little tanginess to it to help enhance the flavor. Cilantro goes just along with it. It's going for a dip. I already know it's going to be a flavor bomb. It's thickened up. Dang, that's good. This is a flavor bomb. It's a flavor bomb. If you've never smoked some chuck roast, braised it in some liquid, the liquid that we made, the braising liquid, the consommé that we made, it worked. If you haven't tried it before, this is the recipe to try. Chuck roast is usually known for how tough it is. Here, you wouldn't even be able to tell. For some leftover meat as well, it doesn't have to be chuck roast. Get it on the smoker. Get some smoke on it. Get a bark. Put it in your braising liquid. And this is phenomenal. Yeah, this is something that you're not going to want to stop eating. Dang. This is phenomenal. Definitely a labor of love, takes a little bit longer than the other stuff, but that's part of the process. The process is the day-to-day walk that we take to get to where we want to be. And sometimes we don't want to do that. We get lost in just knowing where we want to be, not realizing that what we do on a day-to-day gets us there. So none of us really want to know about the process, but we want to know about the end goal and the results and what that life's like. What I had to learn, especially I told you before, I lost over 100 pounds, is the day-to-day is where the growth happens. The result and where you want to be, it's already there. It's already been given. God had already placed it and set the table. It's who we are and who we have to become to get to where we want to be. Where I was 100 pounds before I lost it, and the man I had to become to lose the weight. That's what this is about. It relates to this, the process of going through it. Embrace the day-to-day. Embrace the step. Romanticize the step. It might not be a leap. It might not be an elevator. But God said, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. And it's the steps we take that build us to become who we're meant to become, to be able to handle what we got to handle when we get to where we're going. I like to thank God because the man I was to the man I became when I lost the weight. If I had just I woke up one day and I had everything I wanted and I didn't have to go through it. First off, that would be boring. If I just woke up tomorrow and every dream that I had was just accomplished, what is there to do? All right, what does my day look like? I look back and realize every day in between when I started and when I got to where I wanted to be, that was the building process. And yes, it was tough, a struggle, things I had to learn and unlearn. But those moments are the moments I look back on that I was excited for, that I'm happy about, that I'm glad I went through it so that I could understand and be able to handle where I'm at today. If I woke up, didn't have to do any work to lose the weight, didn't have to learn how to lose the weight, learn how to maintain it, and this was just given to me, I wouldn't know how to handle it. I wouldn't be in the right frame of mind. I wouldn't know how to eat. I just encourage you to enjoy the process right now. And I want to give you the opportunity to give it a chance. We romanticize the end goal and the results without the steps. And when God orders the steps, we might not be in shape enough to take them yet at a fast pace, to be able to run up some steps, skip steps. But we know as we're taking those steps, we're elevating into who we're supposed to be. I just want to encourage you to take the step, to embrace the process, and not let the work, because you got the faith, right? You got the faith. You know this is here. You know your dream's there. It's possible. But then we got to add the work to it. And the faith without the works is dead. The work is the steps. The faith is the fact that you believe and you know that the dream and the goals that you have are there. They're obtainable. So we're going to start here and we're going to slowly take the steps so that we can meet this where it's at. This is going to continue to grow. And if we think we're just going to jump here, we're going to miss it. Let's take the steps and meet this where it's at so that we can continue to grow with it. With that being said, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. This junk roast, this taco, every element that went into it, it was well worth it. If you give it a try, tag me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I would love to see if you make it or whatever you're cooking from our channel. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. I love you. Peace.